Ever wondered who the deadliest criminals in history are? It's a question that stirs curiosity and provokes a certain unease. As we delve into this intriguing world of crime, we're not just looking at the horrific acts themselves, but at the minds behind them, the driving forces that push certain individuals to such extremes. Understanding crime is more than just a morbid fascination. It's a lens into the darker corners of human nature, the unsettling underbelly of our society. But what is a crime? And who are these criminals? In essence, a crime is an act committed in violation of a law for which a punishment has been prescribed. The perpetrators, criminals, are those who commit such acts. These definitions, though, barely scratch the surface of the complex web that is criminal behavior. So, brace yourselves and stay with us as we take you through a chilling journey of the top 9 deadliest criminals of all time. Crime has been part of human history since its inception. From the dawn of civilization, we have seen individuals who have stepped over the line, defying societal norms and laws. One of the earliest examples hails from the biblical times with the story of Cain and Abel. This ancient tale recounts the first recorded instance of homicide, where out of envy and anger, Cain murdered his brother Abel. This fratricide, as old as human history itself, set the stage for the many heinous acts to follow. Fast forward a few millennia, and we find ourselves in the Middle Ages, a time marked by brutal rulers and ruthless conquerors. Among these, we find one figure whose name still sends shivers down the spine: Vlad the Impaler. With a reign soaked in blood, Vlad III, the Prince of Wallachia, was infamous for his preferred method of punishment: impalement. His reign of terror was so gruesome that it's said to have inspired the creation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. But Vlad was not alone in his bloodlust. The Middle Ages were rife with rulers who used fear and cruelty as tools of control. From Genghis Khan, who led the Mongol invasions, to Queen Ranavalona I of Madagascar, known as the Mad Queen for her brutal and repressive rule, these figures left a bloody trail in their wake. As we moved into more recent times, the nature of crime began to evolve. It was no longer just about power and control, but also about money, passion, and even madness. Figures like Jack the Ripper, the unidentified serial killer who terrorized the streets of London in the late 19th century, became infamous for their gruesome acts. These early criminals, from Cain and Vlad to Jack the Ripper, set a terrifying precedent for what was to come. They showed us the dark side of human nature and the depths to which some individuals can sink. And as we'll see in our next segment, crime continued to evolve, with the 19th century giving birth to a new breed of nightmare. As we move into the 19th century, crime took a darker turn. This was a time when the world was rapidly modernizing, and with it came a new breed of criminals who would leave an indelible mark on history. Among these figures, 2 names stand out for their sheer infamy and the terror they instilled in the public mind: Jack the Ripper and H.H. Holmes. These 2 figures, though separated by an ocean, shared a common thread: a terrifying capacity for brutality. Let's start with the notorious Jack the Ripper. Operating in the Whitechapel district of London in the late 1880s, this unidentified killer's gruesome murders sent shockwaves through the city. His victims were primarily women, and his modus operandi was chillingly violent. Despite the best efforts of the police, Jack the Ripper's identity remains a mystery, making him a haunting figure in the annals of crime. Across the Atlantic, H.H. Holmes was weaving a web of deceit and murder in Chicago. A con artist and bigamist, Holmes is best known for his murder castle, a building filled with trapdoors, secret passages, and a basement designed for the disposal of his victims. It's estimated that Holmes may have killed as many as 200 people, though the true number is unknown. The 19th century was a time of great change, and unfortunately, this progress was not limited to advancements in technology or culture. It also saw the rise of a new breed of criminals, ones who used the cover of a rapidly changing society to commit acts of unimaginable horror. While these criminals were eventually stopped, their heinous acts left a lasting mark on society. They serve as a stark reminder of the dark underbelly of human nature and a testament to the importance of law enforcement in maintaining order and safety. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we see some of the most notorious criminals in history. The face of crime had changed dramatically, and the world was introduced to a new breed of villains. Let's start with Ted Bundy, a name that sends shivers down the spine. He was a charmer, a law student, and a cold-blooded serial killer. Bundy managed to escape the law twice before his final capture in 1978. His charm and good looks masked the true horror of his crimes, making him one of the most infamous criminals of the 20th century. Then we have Charles Manson, the man behind one of the most notorious cults in history. Manson and his family, as he called them, were responsible for a series of gruesome murders in the late 60s, including the brutal killing of actress Sharon Tate. Manson's ability to manipulate his followers and incite them to commit such horrific acts is a chilling reminder of the power of persuasion. And who could forget Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal? Dahmer was a serial killer who preyed on young men in the 80s and early 90s. His gruesome acts of murder and necrophilia shocked the world and brought to light the dark underbelly of society. These criminals, and many like them, have left an indelible mark on the psyche of the world. They've become synonymous with the word monster, a testament to the chilling crimes they've committed. Their stories serve as a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity and the terrifying potential for evil that exists within us all. The horror of these criminals' actions continues to haunt us today. Their names are etched in our collective memory, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks in the corners of our world. As we move forward, it's important to remember these stories, not to glorify the criminals, but to learn from the past and strive to create a safer, more just world. In the 21st century, crime has taken on a new form: terrorism. This era is marked by individuals and organizations who use fear and violence as their weapons, aiming to spread terror and coerce governments or societies in pursuit of political, religious, or ideological goals. Their actions have left an indelible mark on our world, forever altering the landscape of crime. One such figure is Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind Al-Qaeda. This notorious group was responsible for some of the most devastating terrorist attacks in recent history. Bin Laden's reign of terror, marked by the September 11th attacks, resulted in the loss of thousands of innocent lives, shook the world to its core, and changed global perceptions of safety and security. But terrorism isn't confined to one person or one group. It's a hydra, a multi-headed beast. When one head is cut off, another springs up in its place. This is evident in the rise of groups like ISIS, who filled the vacuum left by Al-Qaeda and continued to spread fear and destruction across the globe. These individuals and groups operate in the shadows, their identities often unknown until it's too late. They exploit the vulnerabilities of societies, using technology, propaganda, and radical ideologies to recruit and radicalize others to their cause. The impact of their actions is profound and far-reaching. They've not only caused immeasurable pain and suffering, they've also influenced how nations approach security, foreign policy, and even domestic policy. The fight against terrorism has led to wars, reshaped borders, and altered the course of history. In this new age of crime, the battlefield is everywhere and nowhere. It's in our cities and towns, in our computers and phones, and in the hearts and minds of those who are susceptible to radicalization. These individuals have forever changed the face of crime and terror. They've shown us the darkest depths of human depravity, but they've also reminded us of the resilience and strength of the human spirit as we continue to stand against terror and strive for a safer, more peaceful world. Crime, as we have seen, is a complex and terrifying part of human history. Our journey has taken us through the chilling tales of early wrongdoers, the horrors of the 19th century nightmares, the appalling acts of modern monsters, and the unsettling age of terrorism. These figures, the 9 deadliest criminals of all time, serve as stark reminders of the depths to which humanity can descend. Their actions, though abhorrent, have shaped our world and our understanding of crime. They've left an indelible mark, not only on the lives of their victims, but on society as a whole. They've changed how we approach justice, how we view safety, and how we understand the human psyche. Remember, understanding these stories is not about glorification, but about learning from history. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more intriguing content.